Poland has announced plans to double jail terms for pedophiles after a documentary on priest sex abuse sparked outrage in the country.
Here's a summary of the article.
Poland has announced plans to double jail terms for pedophiles after a documentary on priest sex abuse sparked outrage in the country. Police have prevented the documentary from being projected onto the facade of churches in Warsaw and Gdansk. Just days before the documentary's release, party leader Jarosław Kaczynski said, "Whoever raises their hand against the church and wants to destroy it, raises their hand against Poland." The government has scrambled to react, rushing through tougher sentences for child sex abusers but simultaneously sending mixed messages about the documentary, with some branding it an attack on the church. Next month, Archbishop Charles Scicluna, a papal envoy who investigated child sex abuse in the Catholic Church in Chile that resulted in the resignation of several bishops, will arrive in Poland on a visit to discuss the issue. Archbishop Wojciech Polak, the leader of Poland's Roman Catholic Church, has apologized to the victims. In March, the Polish Church admitted that almost 400 clergy had sexually abused minors over the past 30 years.
This post received a score of 9,370, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
If you make really harsh penalties, it sounds like you're getting tough on a crime. But it really doesn't matter if no one is ever prosecuted. This story first broke in the late 1980s. The Catholic Church has paid out $6 billion in settlements to rape victims. And yet, it continues unabated. That's because the Catholic Church protects them. So in all the time this has been going on, with thousands of priests guilty of child rape, only a few have gone to jail, worldwide. This law is not going to change that.
It's not severity but certainty of punishment that acts as the real deterrent. If there was $1 million fine for speeding, but only one person a year was ever ticketed, everyone would speed all the time because they'd almost certainly never have to pay that fine anyway. If, on the other hand, the fine was $1 but there was a cop with a radar gun on every corner, very few people would speed.
This seems to be correct. I hate to say it, but having sex with children is already illegal in Poland. Making it super illegal probably isn't going to affect the rate at which it happens.
It has nothing to do with deterrence. Taking a criminal population with one of the highest recidivism rates out of circulation longer saves more children from being abused.
But the effect is minimal when very few people are successfully prosecuted. Double jails terms for offenders is horseshit distraction in the larger picture. Holding organizations that protect offenders accountable should be where the regulatory action is.
It's a reactionary law, purely populist politics. It was never meant to change anything, only to make the ruling party look low on crime.
The documentary, with English subtitles.
Double nothing is still nothing. The problem is the cover-ups and the lack of prosecutions. The Catholic Church should be prosecuted as an organization for its efforts to prevent legal action, as should all other organizations that have done similar.
They campaigned on the dangers of gay men influencing, and eventually molesting, raping children and even printed up T-shirts and signs at rallies that said something like, "Hands off our kids." Turns out their biggest voter base and one of their biggest public support groups happened to be the Catholic Church, which as it turns out was the biggest danger to the kids. Saint John Paul, the Polish Pope, actively covered up and suppressed widespread child rape in the Polish Catholic Church during the Soviet era because he was afraid the Soviets would use it as an excuse to wipe the Church out of society. He personally knew of hundreds of incidents committed by a dozen or so child rapists and used church leverage and money to pressure and bribe the families of children who had been raped to keep their mouths shut.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.